So section A1.2, algebraic expressions and models. A long time ago, they said, we're going to do 2 times 2 times 2 times 2 times 2. That's really annoying, writing 2 out 5 times. I wish there was a way that we could write just one thing that meant 2 being multiplied 5 times. That's what exponents are. Exponents are repeated multiplication. So 2 to the 5th means 2 multiplied 5 times. When we're dealing with exponents, the 2 would be called, excuse me, the base. The 5 would be the exponent. And the exponent tells us how many times we are multiplying the base to itself. This is also a great time to remind you that your calculator does exactly what you tell it to. So, if we think about negative 3 to the 4th, this means negative 3 times negative 3 times negative 3 times negative 3. That's 4 negatives. What happens to those 4 negatives? They're all going to cancel. If your exponent is even, your negatives are all going to cancel. So if you plug this into your calculator correctly, you should get positive 81. If you forget the parentheses, your calculator will tell you negative 81, which is not correct. So the parentheses really matter. Negative 3 to the 3rd would be negative 27. That time you're doing negative 3 3 times. 2 of the negatives would cancel. There would still be 1 negative there. So if your exponent is odd, your negatives don't cancel. Negative 3 squared. Anyone know what that is? 9? Number 4, we're moving where the negative is. If the negative is outside of the parentheses, 3 to the 4th is 81, and there's a negative in front. So that one is negative 81. Number 5 is still going to be negative 27. 3 to the 3rd is 27, and then stick the negative in the front. Are you all familiar with PEMDAS? We've been preaching PEMDAS for forever? 3, 4-ish years, ever since you learned about exponents and parentheses. First, you do the operations that occur within your grouping symbols. So the parentheses happen first. Next, we do any exponents, any powers. Remember that myth I told you about how subtraction doesn't really exist? You do multiplication or division, because division is just really multiplication. Multiplication or division, whichever comes first from left to right. So if you're looking at a problem and it's got like 2 divided by 3, and then somewhere further in the problem it's got multiplication, you would do the division first, because division and multiplication are the same, so you do them in order from left to right. Lastly, you do addition or subtraction from left to right, whichever one comes first. So really, in our enlightened state, PEMDAS should really just be PIMA, because division and subtraction aren't real. So it's really just PIMA. Now, I could make you do number 6 completely on your own, step-by-step, no calculator, using PEMDAS. Or we could type it into our calculator. If you use the parentheses in your calculator, if you type it into your calculator exactly as it's shown, your calculator will do this correctly. So take a moment and type this in your calculator with the parentheses. If you're not doing it on the calculator, negative 2 plus 5 is 3. 3 squared is 9. Then 9 times 2 is 18. And we have negative 4 plus 18, so the answer is 14. Those of you on your calculator, did you get 14? Okay. We can skip over number 7. Just remember, even if it seems like there's an excessive number of parentheses, they are there for a reason. They help your calculator to do what you're really intending them to do. Number 8, we're going to take this algebraic expression and we're going to plug in x equals -2. So anywhere you see an x, we are going to put -2 in its place. Again, you're going to seem like this is excessive with the parentheses, but the parentheses will help you. So I've got -3. Instead of the x, I put parentheses, and my -2 goes in the parentheses. Square that. -5 parentheses, put -2 in the parentheses, plus 7. If you go excessive with your parentheses, you can type this into your calculator to get your final answer. Has anyone typed it in yet? Did you get 5? Lovely. Okay, quickly on number 9. It is going to seem like this is really, really parentheses heavy excessive, but that's okay. Anywhere we see x, we're going to put a 4. Anywhere we see y, we're going to put -6. And we are going to do parentheses around each of those. So 3 parentheses 4 squared -2 parentheses -6 4 minus -6. So even on the bottom, I used parentheses around both of those numbers. Now there's a reason that we put this example in the notes. The first part of PEMDAS says evaluate your grouping symbols. When you have a big long division bar like this, you have 2 groups. There's the top group and there's the bottom group. If you try to type this in your calculator all in one step, after the -6, when you hit divide, it will do -2 times -6 divided by 4, and that's the division problem that it will do. So what you really need to do is evaluate the entire top, evaluate the entire bottom, then do your division. So if I evaluate the top, I believe I get 60. The bottom, we should get 10. So the final answer is 6. Okay. Number 10 might possibly be the most important question on this entire notes packet. What is 10y plus 15y? 25y. Is it y squared? No, it's just y. Exponents indicate repeated multiplication. So y squared means y times y. Did I do y times y? No, I did y plus y. I did 10 y's and 15 y's. I added those together. I got 25 y's. So when you're adding, you do not increase the exponent. Number 11, 6m squared. What can we combine with 6m squared? -7m squared, and that will give us -1m squared. You can write the -1. You can just write a negative. Totally up to you. -12m is lonely. No friends. I can relate. So it just hangs out right there. -12m. Not really. I mean, I have like a friend. You know, that's all you really need, right? Just a friend. Number 12, what do we need to do first? Need to distribute 3x minus 6. When we distribute the 5, do you see how there's a minus in front of the 5? Yeah, subtraction doesn't really exist. It's the addition of negative numbers. So this is really a -5. So -5 times x is -5x. -5 times -8 is +40. Then we can combine our like terms. to get negative 2x plus 34. I think there is a word problem on your assignment, but I think they already gave you the equation and you just have to plug numbers into it. So I think we're good, and I think I have some time for you to work on your assignment. Your assignment for this section is A1.1 to A1.2 in EdSite. Currently in EdSite, you have 2 things assigned to you. So make sure you're looking at those numbers. You don't want A1.3, 1.4, you want 1.1 and 1.2.